What is going on, guys? Back to some more Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. We have this new Extreme Z Awakening that's going to be coming to Dokkan, where you can Z Awaken, well, Extreme Z Awaken a unit from 120 all the way up to level 140. Super attack goes from super attack 10 to super attack 15. So I thought, why not create like a little video as to what the top 5 units who would benefit from this the most. Now, this is opinion based. This is what I think. This is what I believe. If you have a different opinion or you have a different belief of what unit should be Extreme Z Awakening that would benefit from this the most, then please leave your top 5 down below in the comments, guys. So we're going to get into my top 5 right now. And I want to say a couple of things. So this is strictly based on their stats increasing and nothing else, because we don't know if passives will change. We don't know if links will change. I'm not going to assume that, because some units, although they would benefit from a Extreme Z Awakening, their passes are just so bad that they just cannot be redeemed. Like, I would love to have other units on the list, but if their passes stay the same, they just get a stat buff like the dupe system buffs, then that's not enough to redeem them. So this is just going on the premise that it is literally just stats being HP attack and defense increasing, with the super attack of 10 going to 15, nothing else. So nothing about passive changing or anything. So it is what it is, guys. So let's get into the first card right now, and we are going to be talking about, boom, Golden Frieza. Yeah, this is the first card that I believe would benefit. Now, he isn't a bad card, but I don't have him as being a good card at all. I have in mind super attack 10, 43% dupe system, level 20 criticals, and he kind of is made to do 2 things: tank and be offensive and defensive. He reduces damage by 70%, as well as increases his own attack by 70%. Now, that's good, but his restriction is bad. His restriction is just so bad. Like, literally, you're going to lose that, I want to say, at least 40% of the time. Even on a Super Saiyan 3 Broly lead with a 120% lead, or even on a Golden Frieza category, like, you will lose that every now and then, which is kind of frustrating when you lose his passive to where he can't do anything besides just link a little bit with like shocking speed and fierce battle. So I feel like the card would be quite a bit more relevant if his stats increase. For example, if his attack were a bit higher, if his defense were a bit higher, he might lose his passive, but at least he can still somewhat hit and also defend, because he would have a higher baseline defense and attack. So I feel like he's one of the units that would benefit the most. He's a more newer unit compared to Super Saiyan 3 AGL Goku, which we know who's going to be getting a Z Awakening. So I don't have him in the list because his is coming. We know this. I'm talking about who's the best units that would benefit from this the most, outside of him, of course, because he's already confirmed. So Frieza is my top 5, Golden Frieza tech. Moving on to my number 4. Boom. Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Now, honestly, this guy is still good. He isn't even bad. Like, he isn't anything that some would say, oh, that's not even an option. Like, he's actually a decent option for the majority of all teams, honestly, because 80% up on the passive is pretty good. 30% restriction is very easy to maintain. Supreme damage, I think he has like 140% 12 key multiplier, very nice. Top tier key link, Overnight Flash, that could be shared with, you know, quite a few cards. I mean, not every team will have Overnight Flash as a dominant link. For example, if you have Super STR, that's more GT, prepare for battle, shocking speed, which none of these, this guy doesn't have any of those links, so he's not going to link well in certain situations, but by no means he's a bad card. Now, with that being said, he could still benefit from a little bit of a buff, because 80% is still, you know, yeah, it's still good, but we have units coming out these days with 100% that are rebirth units, that are 120%, that are 150%. Like, if you compare those percentages to his is quite underwhelming, and it's not really his fault that he's just an old card that came out quite a while ago. So if he were buffed a little bit with the attack, then he could hit significantly harder. Like, if his attack was increased to, let's say, a baseline stat of like 10,000 plus, you give induces and buffs on top of that, he could probably mimic what a 100% attack up or 120% attack up on passive could be, although he only has 80 because his defense, his attack buff is just that much increased. So I think he's one of the units that could benefit from it. It wouldn't be busted, it wouldn't be overkill, it would be actually pretty appropriate. Like, he has nothing else to offer. Like, his leader ability isn't anything great. His link set isn't going to link, in terms of key, with the majority of units that are not, like, you know, Overnight Flash units. So I feel like he could benefit from a bit of a buff, which, you know, wouldn't hurt him at all. It would only give him a better chance of fitting in certain teams, which, you know, I mean, he's a good unit. I like the card. I like the super attack. I like the look of the card. I like the, I'm not opposed to the passive. I just think these days units with like 120 plus, like, it's kind of busted to compare those units to him, obviously, but he could benefit from it definitely. Both the Super Saiyan 3 Gokus, this one and also the AGL, which the AGL one is getting his Z Awakening, his Extreme Z Awakening, so that's not a consideration because it's happening. Now, moving on to number 3 is this guy. Now, I know what you're thinking. I know. He's technically a new card compared to Super Saiyan 3 Goku, Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan 3 Angel, Angel L? AGL in STR. He is relatively newer card, kinda. I mean, he's been on JP for over a year, so I don't know if you want to call him new, but I mean, I like the card. I'm not opposed to the card at all. I love the link set. I love the trifecta. I guess link here, over the flash, shocking speed, and prepare for battle. Very good link set there. He can fit on pretty much any team. Even if you have like a heavy villain team, most villains will have shocking speed these days, so he can link with even most villains as well. So not a bad card. His pass is where he somewhat falls. Now, it's not the restriction. I think 10 turns is very appropriate. You're beating events within that 7 to 10 turn range, so this is you're never gonna lose this. Like, if you're a decent player, you're never gonna pass 10 turns. It's this stuff that holds him back. Now, one of the best links set in the game, but flat out stat buffs are just not impressive compared to percentage buffs, of course. Like 20%, I believe, is like equivalent to, like, I don't even know, like 50%, 60% attack up, if I were to give it a percentage. I'm not exactly sure of the number. That's kind of spitballing. Based on the amount of damage he does to what 40 or 50% could be. This is about a 50-60% buff, I would say. Defense is about 30. So he's not... like, he's a good card. He can hit decent. He links well, but he would benefit greatly from a buff, meaning if you gave him a bit more attack, he can hit harder. Gave him some defense, he can tank better, and it'll just make the card overall more usable because people take him out of the teams for that Super Saiyan Blue AGL Goku, which of course I don't blame them. Like, the guy has 100% attack on the passive. He hits harder with just a couple more orbs and dupe system than this guy, which this guy has immense damage, but a supreme damage unit can outdamage him based on the passive alone. So this guy would benefit from a bit of a buff, being the Extreme Z Awakening whenever that comes. Once again, only going on the premise that it's going to be a stat buff. I'm not sure if the passives will get buffed. I'm not sure if the links will change. If the passives get buffed, then I would have included other units inside here. But just going on stats alone, you know, comparing to Blazing, I'm just gonna, these are the cards that I'm picking based off of just stats. So his stats going up will make the card just overall better. And people would probably run him over the Super Saiyan Blue these days, honestly. If he does get a Extreme Z Awakening, that is. Moving on. Here is my second card now, this card. This card is, honestly, he should be number 1. This card, honestly, should almost be number 1, literally. Like, yeah, he's just bad. Like, he's just so bad, man. Like, okay, he has one good link, shocking speed, but that's not relevant at all in his team. His team being Super Saiyan 3, Angel Goku, over in a flash, some prepare for battle in the team. There's, like, no shocking speed. There's none. I mean, I guess if you want to run Pycon and Whis, then there you go, you have shocking speed in that aspect, but you have to sacrifice other units to accommodate that partnership, which would then allow Bears to link with someone, which I wouldn't do because there's so many better options. His passive is underwhelming. This portion of his passive is very nice, but 60% attack up is nothing. It is like, you have units who have this as a support, man. Like, it is nothing. Well, not 60%. That's kind of a big like, this isn't anything, man. Like, you can't do anything 60%. Like, you can buff him in the dupe system. You can give him orbs. You can give him criticals and whatnot. Yeah, he'll hit with all those things added into him, but you have to, like, go out of your way to make him decent. Like, you have to, like, 100% this guy, give him level 20 criticals to make him decent. Like, that's quite bad. Like, this mechanic, I love the rage mode mechanic, to where he goes rage mode under 30% health. That's very cool. He's the only card in the game that has that. That's Beerus, I should say. Only Beerus card in the game that has that. I love that, but beyond that, he has nothing going on. So if he were to get buff, I mean, he would be more relevant. Like, he would fit on this godly team, which honestly, the STR Bears takes his slot. I would honestly put the STR Bears on team before I put the Tech 1, simply because the STR 1 has just a better passive, like high chance for 200% attack up. That's dangerous. That's very dangerous. So I would definitely put the STR best about this one, but this one got a buff. Let's say if this got to like, you know, 11,000, defense got to like friggin' 6,000, like he could hit. Like, although this is only 60%, when the stats get bigger, when the stats get more, these units will start doing damage. Like, it doesn't matter if this is like 40%. If you have like 20,000 base attack, then you're gonna hit in the millions every time. So he would benefit greatly, which would make him relevant on certain teams that he's not relevant on currently. Because the STR 1 does take his slot in the majority of other teams, does not the mono teams, of course. Moving on to my number 1 pick. Now, number 1 pick, it was kind of difficult, but I feel like this card needs it. Like, he needs it, my people. Actually, this guy here. Yep, Ultimate Gohan Int. Back in the day, this card I hunted for. Like, I wanted this card so bad. I thought his passive was busted. I thought the card was busted. I thought everything about him was busted. Like, he was such a good card, and he was Gohan. When I say back in the day, I mean like last year, like August, like very early Dokkan times, at least for me early. Like, this card was the card to get, but I never pulled him until like, you know, way down the line where he lost a lot of relevance. Like, his passive is interesting. When key 7 or more, he gets 5 key and 10,000 attack up. That's not disgusting, but by no means is it good in terms of what today's meta is with like 150% attacks up and stuff. His STR variant is 120% attack up, plus a chance to evade, plus giving super allies 50% defense. Like, compare that to this guy, which is also another Dokkan Fest exclusive Ultimate Gohan. It is a world of difference. It is immense levels of difference, people. So, like, his passive is pretty bad. He would need quite a big buff. But honestly, he really gets a disgusting buff in Dupe System. Like, he's one of the cards that gets the biggest buffs in the game, honestly. So, if you do invest him into Dupe System, plus give him a Extreme Z Awakening, his attack stat can be over 20,000. It could really be over 20,000, people. And you put him under a hybrid. Well, you can't do that because he's Ultimate Gohan. If you put him under a 120 lead, being, I guess, Int Gogeta, then I mean, yeah, he's gonna hit. And until there's a category, you know what? There's not really ever gonna be a category for him because the STR Gohan will pretty much always take the Ultimate Gohan slot in any category team that comes out, unless he just becomes busted if he does the Awakening. Like, he needs like, this guy needs like LR max level stats, yo, for him to like go beyond the, you know what? Not even that can save him. Like, he's not gonna be relevant about the STR. The STR, he supports with defense for allies. He can somewhat you know, dodge, you know, medium chance to evade damage, and he hits disgustingly hard, and he has the Kaioken mechanic as well. So this guy, even if he would Z Awaken, I think his only relevance would be in his own team being super int. But at least he would fit on that team if you give him a buff to where he can shine over units like maybe Demigod Vegeta, maybe shine over Vegeta. That's a big maybe, because Vegeta is still pretty damn good. Maybe shine over Ray Trunks, maybe. But again, like, Ray Trunks and LR Gohan's partnership is pretty amazing. So he needs a buff to be even considered on the team, and it needs to be a substantial buff. So I don't know, man. Like, I don't know how the Extreme Z Awakening is gonna, or I don't know how they're gonna go about them. But I feel like units like these who are quite outdated, and just aren't really like, I mean, you know, this guy is pretty good. Like, he's probably the one that you can, you know, say he's fine. Like, if he doesn't get one, he'll still be good. It's just giving him one would just make him amazing. Everyone else just is definitely overlooked in their own teams, especially this guy. I love this guy, but you know, he doesn't hit close to the Super Saiyan Blue with a little bit of Dupe System integrations. So that's my list there, guys. Let me know down below what you think. Let me know down below what your list is. Let me know if you think maybe STR Broly. I don't even know. Whoever, well, STR, the Dokkan Fest one, not the LR Broly. So let me know down below who you think should be the top 5 Extreme Z Awakening units that will benefit from this the most. This is my top 5. Let me know yours is down below, guys. So hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe if you're not subscribed as well. So I'll see you next time, and yeah, bye-bye.